Now, realtor signs. This is something that I first heard from one of the guys that you have on all the time, Todd Falcone, and it would just be crazy not to bring this up. Now, realtor signs, that's something that very, very powerful. There are people that work for commission. They're advertising for business. They're literally asking people to call them so that they can make money. And, asking this question, I'll tell you, it's one of the most powerful questions you can ask. Would you be open to a way to making an income that has nothing to do with real estate? Very powerful, question right there. Most real estate folks right now are hurting, and you want to go back here, and I'll tell you, I highlight this, but if you want to know, the full way of how to talk to realtors in this manner, Todd Falcone is the absolute man at this. But I'll tell you, this is something you would be shocked at how many times I call on realtor signs, and they're actually receptive. We sign real estate people all the time. Now, some people, you're going to be scared. You're going to be scared to pick up the phone. And I'll tell you, it isn't about your product. It isn't about the comp plan. It's just about how much of a hustler are you? How bad do you want it? One thing that you may want to consider is if you hate being on the phone, okay, what do you hate more? I'll tell you one thing that I hated more. I hated working for somebody. I hated having to ask for permission when I could go out of town. I hated asking for time off and waiting for permission to take my son to the dentist. That's what I hated. And so if you want to make things easier to do the things that you may not like, then think about the things that you definitely don't like, and which one would you prefer? Would you prefer to not have a life of freedom, to not have a life of abundance, or would you prefer to pick up the phone call? And I'll tell you, when you make that decision, your life will change. It will absolutely change. So here's another one, number 6. Free seminar / webinar. You can do either or, okay? And I'm going to give you kind of a structured way to do this. Very, very powerful way to get really what you want. And there's 2 different things you might want from this. Now, I say this is a hustler rank of 8 because it's you actually doing it. It's you getting in front of either a group online or offline. Now, you can use content from MLSP. Do you realize that you being a member of MLSP, you don't have to create content yourself. You can simply watch the webinars, watch the training, and you can have an entire seminar about things that you learned from Lead System Pro. You could have a seminar on what you're learning right now. These are tactics that small business owners could use. They're tactics that marketers could use, that network marketers could use. And I'll tell you, there's 77 million, baby boomers, and a lot of them, they don't want to use complicated ways to build their business. This is something that they could do. And so here's how you could structure it. Use some MLSP content. Do a free seminar webinar for your target. Okay, and that could be network marketers. It could be small business owners. It could be people that want to know more about social media, whatever. Okay, could be chiropractors. When Dan Kennedy started, he targeted chiropractors. It could be whatever niche that you want to target. How to market your dentist office, whatever type of person you want to target, do a specific seminar or webinar, market that, get people to attend. Now, putting that on is pretty straightforward. Give them some tips, give them some content. You're not going to pitch your primary business. You're not, you could mention Lead System Pro, but not going to really hammer it down their throat. But here's what you do. Now, this is a pretty gangster strategy, and I've used this in a lot of events. Okay, before you begin, this is real key. You want to make sure, understand what I'm saying here. Before you begin, you want to pass out either a sheet of paper or one that's already typed out for them, and ask them, what's your number one either question or problem with online marketing? Okay, I want you to follow me here. Ask them, what is your number one question or your number one problem with online marketing? Now, in your first kind of free seminar or webinar, you're not going to have a lot of people there. You may have 5, you may have 10, you may have 20. You know, maybe you're an unbelievable marketer and you have 50 people in the room. Unlikely for your first seminar or webinar. But start off with that question. And by the way, any event you ever do, you want to hold on to those answers. Why? Marketing is about problem solving. It's about being in the heads of your prospects and knowing what it is that they actually want to know. Okay, what is their problems? Where's their pain? And so what you do is sometime during that seminar or webinar, you want to take a break and review those answers and those questions and those problems. And then you do this, okay? At the end of your free seminar or webinar, you pitch the second webinar or seminar. You say, hey, guys, did you get a lot out of this webinar or seminar? Did you get a lot out of it? Did you get a lot of content? Did you learn a lot of things? Well, guess what? In 14 days or 10 days or 9, whatever you choose, I'm going to be doing a second webinar seminar, okay? And it's actually going to be totally free to those of you in this audience if you do this. And then you tell them. Let me give you an example. If it's a webinar, let's say you're a brand new marketer. Let's say that you're just cutting your teeth. It was your very first webinar you ever did, okay? And you had a few people on there that enjoyed it. You saw what their number one problem is through the chat or in some way, shape, or form. You're able to get that. Then you read to them. You see what their problem is. That's your next webinar or seminar. And so if they say, boy, I really wish I knew pay-per-click, okay, guess what your next webinar is? Pay-per-click. It'd be a seminar as well. Now you have two options. You can either say, okay, either those of you who attended this first one, send me a video or a text testimonial on how much you liked this webinar, and I'll send you the link to the second. See how that works? Now all of a sudden, you've just generated some testimonials. Now you're going down the path of becoming an attraction marketer. Or if you want more leads, you see this is kind of your choice. You know, and this might be the choice for, actually you could use it with either. If it was a physical event, you could have a little flip camera there and shoot a quick video for a testimonial if you wanted that. You're kind of bribing them, okay? Or have this second webinar or seminar that talks about their pain and say you're free to come to the next one if you bring 2 guests. Now, is that a way for you to get more of the things that you want? Absolutely. And that's why it's such a high hustler rank. This is going to take some hustling. You got to get out there and you don't passively do this sort of thing. This is for the person that's aggressive. This is for the person that wants to make it happen. So let's move on. Let's give you another one here. And this is, you know, you hear it all the time. You hear, go for referrals, go for referrals, but no one does. No one truly goes for referrals. Well, let me tell you about someone that does. I got a buddy, Robert, in Sacramento. This guy is an animal. And I broke him down. I said, I got to learn. I got to figure out how you do this. Because, folks, he has received 157 referrals from one person. And I'll tell you, many times he has received over 50 referrals from one person. How does he do that? You know, and I know so many people on the line. You talk to a prospect, they're not interested, you hang up the phone. Don't do that. You're missing out. Huge. You have a warm body in front of you. You know, unless they're just totally negative and just someone you just don't want to associate with or spend another second with, okay, with those kind of people, definitely hang up. Get rid of them. I understand that. But unless that's the case, go down this path. Ask them. If they say no to joining your primary company, to join Lead System Pro, whatever it is that you're promoting to them, ask them. Say, hey, you've got to know someone who's been affected by the economy or lost their job. Mind if I share this with them? And shut up. Just be quiet. Don't talk anymore. Let them talk. Okay? Ask them. Know anyone that could use our help? Now, if they say, some people will immediately react, no, I don't really know that, right? Because they try to take the easy route. Don't let them take the easy way out. I want you to think about this. They've already said no to you, okay? They've already said no. There's a high chance you're not going to get them to say yes to anything. Push them. Push them a little bit. Don't be obnoxious. Don't be a bully, but push them. No, really? No one you want to help? You don't know anybody struggling? Now, if they give you a few people, contact those people and then call them back for more. Say, hey, I talked to those 3 people. They're actually pretty excited. Do you have anyone else we could talk to? Anyone that's struggling? Anyone that needs some help? Anyone that lost their job recently? Anyone in real estate? Go for that referral. And I'll tell you, some of us, we work so hard to get each and every lead. Why not maximize it? Why not squeeze the juice out of it? And you can really do that by going for referrals. Now, not all of you will be like my man Robert. Robert is a pit bull. He is a bulldog. But to receive 157 referrals from one person, hey, that's worth it. You know, some people tell him no, but not too many, because he asks them in that way. He asks them in a caring, nurturing kind of way. He's not a jerk to them, but he really goes for it. You know, when you get that precious lead, unless they're a total jerk, you want to try to squeeze the juice, get as much out of them as possible. Now, here's actually one of my favorite ones. I love this one. I think it's cool. It's something that anybody can do, and it gives you a way to get on the phone with people. And if you notice, how many of these tactics am I talking about that involve you and the phone? Well, almost every one. But I warned you. I warned you up front that this was just for hustlers. I warned you. Now there are some people on here that you see the guys that are making millions of dollars a year in network marketing, and well, Ray, they barely use the phone. Well, I'll tell you what, they did to get there. They did to get there. And unless you're there, unless you can afford to hope and wish upon a star, then I think you should be combining these kind of tactics with what you're already doing with writing articles, with blogging, with video. Do that. Create that content. I think you should I highly suggest you create 1 to 2 to 3 pieces of content every single day, but don't miss out on hustling to get leads right now. So this is the card grab. What you do is you find places in your area that have cork boards, okay? Another offline tactic for you. This is the non-techie talking to you. But you know who can duplicate this? 100% of your team. 100%, no matter what area they're in. Find places in your area that have cork boards where people place their business card for advertising. Grab them. Go there, grab them. Grab them off the cork board. Why are they there? They're there because that person wants to make some sort of money by referring their business. Okay? Grab the business cards. Shuffle them up. Call them. Say, hey, I'm not even sure I found your business card. It's on my desk. I have no idea where I even got it from. But just throwing it out there, would you be open to a side project that doesn't interfere with what you're currently doing? You know, this is kind of similar to what Falcone teaches, and he's such a fantastic teacher. He has full scripts for these kind of things, but could you do that? Guess what? Some of them might say no. But you know what? Hustlers don't care. Hustlers absolutely don't care. This is something you can make a weekly round. You know, you could go to the diners, to the coffee shops, to the different places. Grab them and call them. Why not? And I'm going to talk about a couple other things here. But I'll tell you, these are people, they want to make more money, or they wouldn't be putting their business card out there. You know, they're not saying, please don't, they're not on the do not call list. Okay? I'm not suggesting you open up a phone book and just start calling people. Some of them are going to be on the do not call list. These are people that are professionals. They have their own business card, probably work on some sort of commission, and they want to make more money, so call them. Now, this is pretty interesting. Local Google alerts. Now, I've used this to a degree in my area, and it's actually worked out pretty well. And so what you actually set up is you set up with Google. Google has a thing called Google Alerts, and Google Alerts will alert you and send you a little email for any kind of news item on something that you choose, a search item, a search query that you choose. And so let's say you're in Seymour, Indiana. Okay, that's actually where I'm from. You could plug in a Google alert for Seymour, Indiana. Okay, and anything of newsworthy that happens in Seymour, Indiana, you get an email that tells you what happened. Okay, now the reason that I suggest this is I don't watch the news.